Kirupam Saguchatam Sahagana Raghunathan Ritam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanasute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Chami Mataji, for that beautiful Mangacharana. Thank you. I would now kindly like to invite today's mentor, Her Grace Rasa Sundari, to take over. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, am I audible? Can you hear me?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Not very clear, Mataji. Very low. Can't hear properly, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna now?
Not
Now?
yet. Now it's okay, Mataji.
So today we are reading from the third canto, status quo of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 6, entitled Creation of the Universal Form, from text 26 to text 28. 26 and 27 do not have purports, so I'm just going to read the Sanskrit and the translation myself. And then when we come to 28, I read the Sanskrit, and one of you will volunteer to recite the text, and another can volunteer to recite the purport, to read the purport, and then we will start our discussion. Okay, so text 26. Sattvam chasya vinirbhinam mahandrishnyamupavishad chetenam shena yenaso vijnanam pratipadyate. Thereafter, when his consciousness separately manifested itself, the total energy Mahatattva entered with his conscious part. Thus, the living entity is able to conceive specific knowledge. Text 27. Shishrishnusya durdaraprabhyam kamnaberupa udapadyata gunanam vrittayo yeshu pratiyanti saradayaha. Thereafter, from the head of the gigantic form, the heavenly planets were manifested, and from his legs the earthly planets, and from his abdomen the skies separately manifested themselves. Within them, the demigods and others also were manifested in terms of the modes of material nature. Text 28 now, after which when I finish reciting, then one of you can, maybe Gayatri Mataji, can recite after I've finished reciting. Atyantikena satvena devam deva prapedire dharam rajasvabhavena punayo yechatan anu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Go ahead.
Atyantikena satvena divam deva prapedre dharam raja swabhavena panayo ye chatan anu.
Thank you. So the translation is, the demigods, qualified by the super excellent quality of the mode of goodness, are situated in the heavenly planets, whereas the human beings, because of their nature in the mode of passion, live on the earth in company with their subordinates. Okay. Then someone can read the purport by His Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
Hare
Should
Krishna.
I read?
Okay, Pita Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
And
Powered by His divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that those who are highly developed in the mode of goodness, the mode of goodness are promoted to the higher heavenly planetary system, and those who are overpowered by the mode of passion are situated in the middle planetary systems. They are then similar planets, but those who are surcharged with the mode of ignorance are degraded to the lower planetary systems or to the animal kingdom. Demigods are highly developed in the mode of goodness, and thus they are situated in the heavenly planets. Below human beings are the animals, although some of them mingle with human society. Cows, horses, dogs, etc. are habituated to living under the protection of human beings. The word Atyantikena is very significant in this verse. By development of the mode of goodness of material nature, one can become situated in the heavenly planets. But by excessive development of the modes of passion and ignorance, the human being indulges in killing the animals who are meant to be protected by mankind. Persons who indulge in unnecessary animal killing have excessively developed in the modes of passion and ignorance and have no hope of advancing the mode of goodness. They are destined to be degraded to lower statuses of life. The planetary systems are calculated as the upper and lower in terms of the classes of living entities who live there. Prabhupada Ki Jai.
thank you so much, Mahaprabhu, for beautifully reading the purport. So before we start our discussion, I would like to recite some mantras in glorification of the Bhagavatam and for auspiciousness. Sadhu sadhu taraye natini chuchata kara hanuman chakara chima primnari kantayo sura mare kabandu matsangi matpuro manmanadana manishtara kamarbhavya madananda namostute. And first of all, I would like to offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my supremely merciful spiritual master, and to his spiritual master, and unto Srila Prabhupada and all the acharyas in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, and pray that I can be a useful instrument in their service. I would also like to offer my obeisances unto all of you Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis assembled in today's online Srimad Bhagavatam discussion, and seek your blessings so that I can say something which is of value for our advancement in Krishna consciousness, as well as for my own purification. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Pasindubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Yeah, so we are still hearing from Maitreya Muni describing the creation of the universal form to his disciple Sri Vidura. And from text 26, text 27, and text 28, those are our verses of discussion today. He is describing the different components that were manifested from the universal form of the Supreme Lord that relate to this material cosmos or the cosmic material world. And in text 26, you can see how the consciousness, from the consciousness of the universal form, then specific knowledge or conception of specific knowledge of the universe was manifested. So, knowledge means awareness. It's also another name for consciousness. So the consciousness of all the living entities and the consciousness that is there in the entire material world as manifested from the consciousness of the Supreme Lord. This is what text 26 is trying to tell you. And then in text 27, being more specific, it goes on to say that from the head of the gigantic form, the universal form of the Lord, different planetary systems were manifested, like from different parts of the body of the Lord. different planetary systems were manifested. From the head of the Lord, the heavenly planets were manifested. From his abdomen, the sky was manifested, and from his legs, the earthly planets were manifested. And then it goes on to say who are the living entities, like in a more specific manner, who are the entities living in those planetary systems, and by what category are they, like what qualifies them, what qualifies one living entity to live in one planet and another one in another planetary system and another one in another planetary system. And therefore, he says that the demigods and others, other living entities, they are manifested in terms of the modes of material nature. We know there are three modes of material nature. Sattva guna, the mode of goodness, Rajoguna, the mode of ignorance, and Tamoguna, the mode of ignorance. Sattva is the mode of goodness, Rajaguna is the mode of passion, and Tamoguna is the mode of ignorance. So according to these three modes of material nature, as to which mode is prominent in the living entities, then the living entities will live in different planetary systems. And then we are in text 28, whereby there is an elaborate purport about the modes and the living entities in the different modes and their different places of residence according to the mode which is prominent in them. So the demigods, they are usually in the mode of goodness. You can see here they are qualified as by the super excellent quality of the mode of goodness. Therefore, they reside in heavenly planets. And human beings, because they are predominantly in the mode of passion, they live on the earthly planets with other subordinates. And Prabhupada has elaborated who are the subordinates to the human beings. These are the cows, the dogs, the horses. And in this purport, Prabhupada is he has made it very clear that it's not that you are a human being, therefore you always live on the heavenly planets, or you are a demigod, you always live on the heavenly planets, and you are a human being, so you always live on the earthly planets. Or if you are a subordinate to human beings, then you'll always be a resident of the earthly planets. This will change according to your activities. Sometimes people have this misconception, where it's a misconception of the intricacies of karma and reincarnation. They think that once you have come to the level of a human being, then you cannot go lower. You'll always be a human being. If you perform pious activities, then you will go to the heavenly planets. You'll go to Swargaloka. And if you perform sinful activities, where you take birth again in the material world, here on earth as a human being. But that is not the case. Depending on the activities that you perform, you take birth in different places. In the Bhagavatam, Canto 3, text 31, it's the first verse. Kapil Muni tells his mother Devauti, Karma Daivena Nitrena, Janta Dehu Papata Striya Pravishta Udaram Pumshaveta Kanashraya. That according to one's karma, the reactions of his activities in these material worlds, then he gets birth in the womb of a woman through the particle of the male semen, and he assumes a particular type of body. So there is no guarantee that now I am a human being, and a human being is, according to the hierarchy of living entities on the earthly planets, then that is the highest, and I will stay there. Unless I can only get a promotion, I cannot get a demotion. There are people who have this notion, but it is a wrong notion. You can go down, you can go up, or you can stay on the earthly planets. But it will be determined by the activities that you have performed in this material world. In this material world. And one of the most abominable activities that can demote you to the level of the demons, or to the level of those living entities that are subordinate to human beings, or even lower than that, is, Prabhupada says, animal killing. Well, we will come to that. Let's not start the class on a negative aspect of being demoted. So, as living entities on the earthly planets, we can either stay here, or we can get promoted to the heavenly planets, or we can get demoted to lower living entities on Earth, or even hellish planets that are below the earthly planets. So, but what will determine is which mode of material nature we develop more, that it predominates the nature of our activities. So human beings, you have heard here, they are predominantly in the mode of passion because they are more intelligent than all other living entities on the earthly platform. In the middle planetary systems, the human being is the most intelligent, and he also has a high level of consciousness compared to other living entities. And therefore, he receives reactions for his activities. To whom more qualification is given, then more results are expected of him. So other living entities, those that are subordinate to a human being, Prabhupada is saying dogs, horses, cows, animals, or even plants, they don't accrue karma. Why? Because they don't have a consciousness as high as that of the human being. And if you see the lives of cows, the lives of dogs, monkeys, because those are what we can see, or even insects, living entities who have lower intelligence than the human being, they never act out of their order. They only do what they are supposed to do. But because a human being has a high intelligence, he can choose to act accordingly as he's been directed by the scriptures. He has a moral obligation to him. So he can choose to act morally, and he can choose to act immorally. It's his choice. He has free will. But living beings that are below him, they do not have free will. They can only act as per the capacity of their intelligence, as per the capacity of their consciousness, and therefore they don't accrue karma. And therefore, those souls in those bodies, they only progress upwards in the hierarchy of the living entities. If you are a plant, then you become the soul in the next life. After the plant dies, the body of the plant dies, it becomes into a more conscious animal like an insect. Then from the insect, maybe to a bigger animal, or a much smaller animal like a bird, or an aquatic, like a bird or an aquatic. Then to a more conscious animal like a monkey, or a cow, or a lion, or an elephant, and then to a human being. It said even among the animals, the modes of material nature still dominate in these living entities who have lower intelligence than the human beings. because they are all governed by material nature, and material nature mainly constitutes of these three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Therefore, among plants, there are those plants that have higher consciousness, not like the human beings, but it's a pure consciousness because they are plants in the mode of goodness. They are plants in the mode of passion, and they are plants in the mode of ignorance. Bhagavad Gita chapter 14 describes all this. Chapter 14 in the Bhagavad Gita is entitled The Three Moods of Material Nature. So it will tell you the living entities that are situated in different modes, what types of foods are in the different modes, what type of charities are performed in the different three modes, types of sacrifices in the different three modes. It's all there in chapter 14 of the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, you'll find even among plants, there are those plants that are transcendental, like the Tulsi plant. That's why we worship Tulsi plant, which is not a plant of this material world. And then there are some trees like the pipal tree. Those who are from an Indian background, they know pipal tree is a tree which is worshipped, especially in Lord Shiva, especially in connection to Lord Shiva. Yeah, even Amra tree is also worshipped. So these trees are in the mode of goodness, and there are those trees in the mode of passion, and plants in the mode of ignorance, which are poisonous. And among the animals, there are also animals in the mode of goodness, like the cow. Mother cow is an animal in the mode of goodness. It should be worshipable. And drinking cow milk or partaking of taking of things that come from the cow, such as drinking milk, using cow dung or cow urine, puts you in the mode of goodness, puts the human being on the mode of goodness. Then we have monkey. Monkey is the mode of passion, and lions are considered to be on the mode of ignorance. Sorry, mode of passion, and monkeys are in the mode of ignorance. So it says a monkey in his next life, it becomes a human being predominant in the mode of ignorance. And a lion in its next life becomes a human being who is predominant in the mode of passion. And a cow in its next life, it becomes a human being predominant in the mode of goodness. Now, you see the animals, the plants, they don't have any, because they don't have free will. So also they cannot change the situation of the modes in which they are. But a living entity who is a human being, he has that chance, he has that allowance to change the mode of nature which is predominant in him. Because he has higher intelligence, he also has a higher consciousness. Of course, a human being in the mode of ignorance has a much lower consciousness. His grade of consciousness is a bit lower than that in the mode of a person in the mode of passion. And a person in the mode of passion has a bit lower grade of consciousness than a person in the mode of goodness. But they are not stuck there, that you are in the mode of ignorance, you are in the mode of passion, you stay here. No, they can change that by according to the activities that they perform. And therefore, we are always encouraged to come up to the level of goodness. First, come to the level of goodness. Leave activities of the mode of ignorance, activities of the mode of passion, and come at least to the level of goodness. Because we are all in Krishna consciousness, and we know that in Krishna consciousness, it is transcendental, it's performed on Shuddha Sattva, which is transcendental, pure goodness. But before you can come to pure goodness, first you should come to the mode of goodness by engaging in those activities that will put you in the mode of goodness, such as cleanliness, practicing compassion, practicing some austerity. And that's why the four principles, regulative principles, are there. No meat eating. That is, you're practicing some compassion. Then meat eating will not degrade you to the mode of ignorance. No illicit sex. All these are activities which will put you in the lower modes of passion and ignorance. No intoxication. Intoxication ultimately puts you in the mode of ignorance. You are not even aware of who you are. Then no gambling. That one preserves truthfulness. Then you by practicing this, you are constantly situated in the mode of goodness, and then you are in a better state to perform pure devotional service, which can help you even transcend the mode of goodness, come above the mode of goodness, and come to pure goodness, whereby pure devotional service is practiced. Therefore, for those persons that don't follow these four regulative principles, then they stay on the lower modes, and in their next life, they attain destinations such as staying on the on the earthly planets, either as human beings in these modes or as living entities lower who are subordinate as animals or even plants. And if they are unlucky, they can go to the hellish planets. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, text 6, Krishna tells Arjuna, Yam Yam Vapismaran Bhavam, Yajatyanti Karivaram, Tam Tamivaiti Konteya Sadatar Bhava Bhavita. Here it sets a principle for how one attains his destination after death. Your destination after death is determined by your state of consciousness at the time of death. And your state of consciousness at the time of death will be determined by the activities that you have performed in your life. If you've been an animal killer, killing animals, what does Prabhupada say? Persons who indulge in unnecessary animal killing have excessively developed in the mode of passion and ignorance, and they have no hope of advancing to the mode of goodness. Therefore, their destination is the lower statuses of life. If you have been an animal killer, a butcher all your life, then no magic will happen that when you'll be dying, you remember Krishna. No, it says that the time of death, one's activities, one's life flashes in front of him in a minute. In a minute, you see your entire life, how you were born, the activities you are doing, your mother, your father, your siblings, your school days, your high school days, college days, work days, family days, old age, and there you are dying. So your life flashes in front of you. So those activities that you have been performing, they will be in your mind and they will create the consciousness you will have. And then your subtle body will transport your soul to your next body. And that's how you find yourself in a cat's body, meow, 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 or in a dog's body, barking like anything. So it's not said that you'll be there in, you remain a human being or you'll go to the heavenly planets. Demotion is also possible. You can be degraded to the lower statuses of life. But for devotees who are practicing Krishna consciousness, this is a ABCD. This is an ABCD status, but sometimes it so happens that devotees who have, or people who have recently joined the movement, then they are struggling with these different activities to help that can help them let go of the lower modes of nature. But if you stay in the association of devotees and you practice Krishna consciousness, then generally or automatically, these activities that degrade a human being will become forgotten. You even forgot what meat tasted like. I'm sure it's most of us here, if we are, especially those of us that are from Christian backgrounds and material backgrounds and not born in the movement, practicing the four regulative principles. That's the testimony of most of us. We don't know what onion and garlic now. Now, if food comes with onion and garlic, you can immediately tell this has onion and garlic. You can immediately tell the lower modes, even what they smell like. But those who are not that lucky and who are struggling, then it becomes a struggle for them. But if they keep the association of the devotees, then they will remain on the upper mode of goodness, at least on the mode of goodness, and they will not indulge in this. Therefore, it is important to keep the association of the devotees. But it's not like there is no hope. There is no hope for these personalities. The material world is created for the living entities who have a desire to lord it over material nature and to enjoy it, so that they can cheat themselves that they are enjoying. Then when they get enough, when they get tired of cheating themselves and want to face reality, then they come to the conclusion that, okay, now there is no enjoyment in this material world. So for those who are eating meat, then they will, or those who are performing animal killing activities and intoxication and illicit sex and all activities that lead to the lower consciousness, lowering of consciousness of their souls, then ultimately Krishna provides this facility for them. He lets them do them. Because remember, he's seated as the super soul in the hearts of all living entities. And he has two functions. He is sanctioning and he is witnessing. He sanctions the activities that they do, even if they may be sinful. And he is there at the witness to make sure that they receive the due punishment. And when they get tired, when they see they have enough mysteries, then they begin searching for the truth. And then at that point, they will come across Krishna consciousness. They will come across devotees doing Harinam, or they will come across devotees distributing books, or they will hear of Krishna and they will join the Krishna consciousness movement or some religion which will teach them not to do these activities. And then their path of living the lower states of consciousness will begin from there. So it's all by the arrangement of the Supreme Lord, because he does not want to force anyone to love him. He does not want to force anyone to come to the mode of goodness or the mode of pure goodness. If you want to stay in the lower modes, he provides the facilities. That's why the material cosmic manifestation is there. So this has been our state. The Supreme Lord provided it for us because we wanted to cheat ourselves. But those of us that are here in this class, we are lucky. We got tired of cheating ourselves. And if you have not gotten tired, then I think by hearing this, very soon you'll get tired of cheating yourself that you are enjoying. But I know in this class there's no such personality. But the Supreme Lord is also very merciful, that even those who are not tired, sometimes it comes to them. There's a story of Narad Muni. Narad Muni is a great preacher of the Supreme Lord, of the message of the Supreme Lord. And one time he was traveling. He's always traveling with his veena, chanting the holy names of the Lord. And he was traveling and he came across a forest, and there was a hunter there. His name was Murigari. So he is called the Mrigari hunter. So Mrigari hunter was a very cruel hunter. He would not just hunt and kill the animals to feed his family. He would get the animals and he would kill them slowly, cutting different parts at a time, and let the animals suffer a very slow, painful death. And Narad Muni saw this, and although this is very disgusting, he was very affectionate. He felt so much affection, so much mercy, compassion. Sorry, compassion is the word. He felt so much compassion for the soul of Mrigari, the hunter, and he wanted to deliver him. So he told Mrigari the hunter the consequences of doing what he would do. He told them by killing these animals, he would experience the same amount of pain. From all the animals he had killed, he would experience the same. And he said, I don't care. Mrigari, the first response was, I don't care. Because he was experiencing he was cheating himself that he was experiencing some pleasure from this activity of mercilessly killing the animals. So in modern terms or modern psychological terms, we would say Mrigari was a psychopath. He was a serial killer of the animals. He was a psychopath. So, and psychopaths don't care. So he said, I don't care. And Mrigari told him, but you see, the problem is that this reaction will not only come to you, it will also come to your family members. So, since you don't care, you should first of all find out if your wife, your children, your descendants will be okay with this. So go home and ask them. And he told Narad Muni, I'll do this, I'll first tie you up. And then I will go and ask my family members. So Narad Muni agreed to be tied up to a tree. And Mrigari the hunter went and asked his family members if they would be okay experiencing the pain that he has been giving to the animals that he's been mercilessly making to suffer and eventually killing them. And none of them said that they would be, they all said we don't want that kind of reaction. And so because of his family members, he came back to Narad Muni and agreed to repent. And then Narad Muni gave him a mantra and initiated him, and by his mercy caused him to leave such abominable activities and told him to stay there and not hunt anymore, and food will be provided to him, and chant and continue chanting and performing devotional service. And so he made Mrigari the hunter a devotee. And afterwards, when he came with one of the Munis, Parasar Muni, after some time of practicing devotional service, chanting Hare Krishna, waking up for Mangalarti, doing all devotional activities, Parasar Muni came with the Narad Muni. And although Narad Muni is a spiritual master of Mrigari, Mrigari could not pay obeisances without first putting a chadar on the crowd. And when he was asked why he did this, he said, because there are so many ants. I don't want to kill them with my hard body. So first I spread a chadar so that they can go away. And then I pay my obeisances so that they are not harmed. This was the transformation of Mrigari the hunter by the mercy of Narad Muni. He was mercilessly, psychopathically killing animals. But in this instant, he did not even want to kill an insect on the ground by paying even obeisances to his guru. This transformation was brought about by the practice of devotion service and of course by the merciful nature, merciful grants of his Bhagavat Guru, Mahabhagavat Guru, Narad Muni. Therefore, if we take to Krishna consciousness, we are not as merciless as Narad Muni. Then all the harmful propensities in our hearts because we do have these propensities. All the demoniac propensities in our heart will come to zero. Mm. And we will be situated on the mode of goodness. We will not want to harm any living entities. Say the devotees are paradukaduki. They get so much distress by seeing the distress of others. But those who are not devotees, they enjoy when other people are suffering. Those who have demoniac propensities. Therefore, surrender to the Guru and the mercy of the Guru. This is not even a question of surrender. The mercy of the Guru. Brigadi had not even surrendered. It was the pure mercy of pure devotee Naradmuni that caused the beginning of his transformation. So we can also be merciful to the living entities, the human beings in this material world. We may not force them to chant Hare Krishna by doing Harinam, but by doing Harinam, by distributing books, the mercy that Srila Prabhupada came to give. Srila Prabhupada, who also converted people who are engaged in activities of the lower modes, hippies, he converted them, mlechas and yavanas, into brahmanas, people situated on the mode of goodness, people who are now today sannyasis and big devotees who have inspired millions of devotees in their practice of Krishna consciousness. This was the miracle of Srila Prabhupada, the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Therefore, we should follow in his footsteps and be Prabhupada's instrument in spreading this mission and showing mercy to people who are there engaged in the lower modes, in activities in the lower modes. And we can't do much, but we can do Harinam, distribute the holy name, distribute books, invite them to our programs, and because Krishna is seated in their hearts, he will awaken and cause them to leave these activities so that they are not degraded. This is mercy. We don't want others to continue suffering because we have been lucky enough to come to this path. It's pure fortune. All Srila Prabhupada's mercy that we have come to this Krishna consciousness, whereby we can practice Krishna consciousness and purify our intentions, purify our consciousness, and come to the mode of goodness. And even when we advance enough, we will come above the mode of goodness and practice Krishna consciousness in its pure form. Therefore, the goal, of course, is not to go to the heavenly planets. We have a goal higher than that, but we can inform we can inform other human beings, other people, of what is happening by them engaging in these activities in the lower modes. And Prabhupada has done a great job by establishing ISKCON, because other than Harinam and book distribution, there are vegetarian restaurants almost all over now where ISKCON centers are. We have vegetarian restaurants. Of course, vegetarianism has become, and being a vegan has become a trend, has been trending in the recent years, which is a very good step to put oneself in the mode of goodness. And of course, that's not the ultimate, but it's a very good beginning. It's a very good step. Therefore, I'll end my part of the discussion here. We have around 10-15 minutes left. If there are any questions, comments, clarifications, or anyone wants to add something, they are very welcome. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Gayatri Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, such wonderful class. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for the wonderful class. I don't know where is Mugo Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Yeah, thank you. Beautiful, beautiful class, Mataji. And yes, you're saying like how demoniac people enjoy when the other people are suffering, which is so bad, like so hard to even imagine. How can they enjoy those kind of things? And Murugari's one example was very beautifully given, Mataji. So nice. And yes, Mataji, I don't know, the Dennis Prabhu has to end the session. I'm not sure. His
It seems he's engaged somewhere else.
Does anybody else have any more comments or questions? Please unmute and ask. Okay, if nobody is there, no questions, then we will unmute and chant one round of Hare Krishna Mahamantra in glorification of Sundari Mataji. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rasa Sundari Mataji ki jai, Srimad Sri Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Thank you for all the assembled devotees. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.